Before editing any complex LaTeX template, you'll need to understand how LaTeX actually works. You'll need to understand the basics of LaTeX. And this is why I am making this video, so that you can understand how the basics of LaTeX works and use this knowledge to understand your complicated LaTeX template and modify accordingly. I'm using Overleaf to render and edit my LaTeX. Why is that? Because it is simple to use. It doesn't require any sort of package managing kind of stuff, and there are many other benefits of this online based LaTeX tool. You can upload your LaTeX by creating a new project or whatever new project and upload your template, but currently I am using a basic template. Okay, and it is a three panel. The left panel is basically showing my file structure and folder structure. The middle panel is the script that I will write on, and the right panel shows the rendered template. And in order to get this split view, you'll have to select the layout option and select the split view. To compile or recompile your script, you'll have to click on this recompile button, or you can just turn on this auto compile mode. Let's start editing the script itself. What I'm editing the main.tex file. So you'll have to find out the actual text file that the script is supposed to be written on. And there is nothing inside my folder. Over the time, I will include things or pages, bibliography, something like that inside this file tree. Okay, so the actual document starts from the begin document part, and before that you'll see various kind of commands such as document class, use package, title, dates, and something like that. It will be much more robust in your case because your template will have its own customized commands, and you'll have to fill them up. How you can fill them up, I'm not going to show you today because those parts vary template to template. You'll have to understand the template itself. Today's video will help you to understand how LaTeX works, the basic part of the LaTeX, how things actually work, and how you can read through the script itself. Okay, and in Overleaf, all the blue text are actually the command, and the green are the comments. The comments do not render or use. This is for the instruction only. So if there is a comment, you may want to read it, and it will guide you to write your script, but it will not affect in the rendered version. From the begin document, what we actually do, we create sections, something like introduction, methods, and results, discussions, conclusions, something like that. And we also include subsections. Let's say inside the methods we include study area, the conceptual framework. These are the things that we actually do for an academic paper. Okay, so how we can do it in LaTeX? In order to include a section, just write on section introduction. If I want to include a method section, I will just write section methods. Similarly, you can include all the sections that you need by typing \section command. If you want to include subsections, let's say I want to highlight the objectives as a subsection of my introduction, or a literature review as a subsection of my introduction, I can do that. How? I just write on subsection So you can create similar to this. If you want to include another level of section, let's say in study area there are multiple way for or the in the conceptual subsection there may be some there may be another level you want to include. How you can do that? Just basically subsection. So as you can see, I can create as much as subsections underneath a section I want, and this will organize similarly. So let me just fill these up with some random text for now on. So I have created some random text just to show you how things are actually arranged. I haven't done anything visually. I have just write some commands, and the LaTeX itself handled all the structure itself. Now if you want to include some list items, then how you can do that? You can do it in two ways. You can do a bullet point list, or you can do a numbered list. To include a bullet point list, you will have to use the begin itemize, something like this, and you will write all of the list item as an item. Let's say you have 3 bullet points, you want to include 3 bullet points, then this is bullet. Similar to this, you'll have to include item every time you want to add a new point, and it will render something like this. And as you can see, there is some blank space in between each list. If you want to decrease the space, you will have to use another command, item sep is equals to. So I am using this command backslash item sep is equals to 0 pt. It means it will not use, or it will use the minimum white space in between each list. If I want to include, let's say, numbered item list item, I'll have to use begin enumerate, and similarly I'll just copy this one. So it had created similar list but in numbered way. Now I will show you how you can add some graphs and charts underneath anywhere. For example, if you want to include the framework for this case, just go where you want to include the figure, left click on this insert figure icon. It will ask you to upload from the computer or from the project file itself or from another project, as well as from the URL. And let's see, if I want to upload it from the computer, it will suggest me to drag and drop or copy paste it. Let's just copy paste it in here. I pasted the image in here. I can file name of this project. I can change the name if I want. Let's say it's a workflow. Folder location. If I want to include this inside another subfolder, I will have to create a subfolder first and then select that folder. But I'm not using it right now. And then there are two options. One is include caption, include label. I will check both of them. Why is that? Because I want to include a caption, of course. And the label portion, I will talk about the label sometimes later. So it inserted the figure itself, and it is in the script. You'll see there are some codes similar to this, and what this code actually refers. The centering command is making the image to be centered. Include graphics is the command that is grabbing the workflow.png file and rendering it. And inside here you can see the white, and this is important because if you don't include this portion, the image will rendered as its real or raw size. If the image is larger than the PDF page itself, it will render only a corner of it and it will exceed the page, and we don't want that. That's why we need to restrict the image size with this command. Here you can include the caption itself. Edit this portion. Then the label, I can change the label, and I will show you when this label is actually useful. Now you may think that I have included this figure underneath my method section, but the figure itself is showing above the methods. Why is that? LaTeX handles all the figures and tables by itself, so you don't need to worry where the figures or tables go. It will take the best possible or most optimized location to be rendered. Next, if you need to include any equations, you will have to you can use several options. For any mathematical term, we generally use $sign, and we can write it will write as an equation or mathematical term. You can also use $sign. What's the difference? When I am writing in a single $sign, you can see the equation itself is written as a simple text, but when I am writing $sign, it is automatically centering itself, which means the equation itself will be separated from the paragraph. Let me show you a use case. For example, you want to mention some sort of mathematical symbol in here, so you will use a single $sign. For example, alpha is equals to 3.2.4, and here you can see it is rendered inside the text itself. But if I want to include something separate from this passage and highlighted as an equation, I'll use $sign. So something like this will generate it. It is separated from the paragraph itself. But one thing you can see or notice that it doesn't generated any kind of equational marking or number. To do that, you'll have to use another command, begin equation. So I have generated a simple equation, something like this, and I have used this begin equation with end equation. Also, I will have to use a label. Why is that? Because I will explain in the label portion itself later on. And you can see the equation itself is numbered properly. So I don't write the number myself. If I include another equation above it, it will take the number 1 and it will automatically refreshed as number 2. So the LaTeX itself handles all the numbering for you automatically. Same thing goes for the figures and table numbers. Now let's talk about tables. If I want to include tables, I can use this table or insert table icon from here. from text or images or select size. I can select the size of my table, let's say 4 by 3. It does create something like this, and I have to insert all of my data in here, but it is not convenient. So what can you do for a better or easier way to generate a LaTeX table? I would suggest you to search for LaTeX table generator and go to the tablegenerator.com. Here you can use these cells to create your own kind of table, and it will automatically generate the stylized table you have done. For example, I want to remove all of this. So I've created a simple table, and I want the headers to be bold and nothing else. So what I can do, I just select everything, make it bold. I want these to be italic. Let's say I can make it italic. I want these to be centered. I can do that as well. I want the header rows to have horizontal lines on top of it and bottom of it. I can simply click and create the horizontal lines wherever I want. I can give a caption to it. I can give a label, and when I can click on this, I can mention where the caption should go, above or below, something like this. Let's click the generate button, and it had generated the table itself for me. So I'll just copy this table, paste it in here, and the table is generated. Let's see. As you can see, the table is generated, and it is not centered. I can do that as well by just clicking, writing centering, and the table now is centered. So you can generate tables like this. I have generated my table. Okay, now let's come to the labeling part. Why the label is used, why all the labels are used. For example, if you are talking about your objectives inside your introduction, how can you mention it? So we'll go to my objective section, write a label command in here, objective, give a call sign, and inside my text I will just say this is mentioned so I have this is mentioned in section. To mention the section number or any kind of figure number, I will use the ref \ref inside the curly braces. It will suggest all the label that I have included in here. I can manually type it or select it from the suggestions. As you can see, this is automatically numbered the whole section thing, and the objective is in 1.1 number section, and it had provided the exact number. Again, if I want to mention my table inside in here, or my figure, I can do that as well. For example, if I want to mention my table, so in order to cross-reference anything that you have provided a label, you can do it by simply writing the ref \ref and the name of the label, and it will automatically give you the numbering thing. As you can see, it is already given the number. Also, these are clickable, so if anyone clicks this number, the render document will take him to that particular location. So this is how we use the label portion. So today I'm gonna stop it from this part. In my next tutorial I will discuss about the bibliography. So that's all. Thank you.